There, Daniel here again. Welcome to another tutorial videos of our Zen tutorial series. In today's videos, I'll be talking more in depth of the tutorial of how you can utilize one of the most function in our Keyword Explorer toolset, and that is the function golden filter. Right. So before I go into the how-to step-by-step of golden filter, the way we usually do our tutorial series is to really help you kind of get in the same mindset as we do of understanding what pain points did we try to solve, and the mechanism behind the way we build that function, so that you also understand the deeper levels of how this functions was built and how it will help you in developing your own SEO strategy most effectively, right? So let me get started. So before we go into there, the most fundamental ideas or the most fundamental data you need to understand is Allintitle, right? For us, when we build a Keyword Explorer, one thing we really want to keep in mind is we want to develop a tool that or function that would help you quickly and effectively filter out long tail keywords in the fastest and most efficient way. Right. Generally, if you want to do long tail keyword filtering, you just get a list of a lot of keywords, and then you probably filter by the word length, so the amount of word in that keyword, and that's probably it. But that was right, but it's not enough, right? You need, that's very one-dimensional. You need also another dimensional to understand whether or not that keyword is worth your investment, and worth investment meaning that if you invest in the long tail keyword and you rank those, you will actually have the kind of volumes you expect. But that is not also enough yet, right? You also want to build those keywords into different kind of zone where it fit with different stage of your SEO strategy, right? If you are new, you just start out, you can't really compete in keywords that actually have higher competition, right? You won't want to choose keyword that have more opportunity to grow. Like for example, keyword that has lower competition, lower search volume, but it's newer, so it's easier for you to compete, and also is right away will give you organic traffic for your website. You can't really compete on a more mature keyword just yet, right? But for teams that are already established, you already have very strong SEO resources. You have backlinks, you have content, you have also your established website and ranking position. You will actually just want to look for keywords that are more in the niche where it require a bit more work, but at the same time it will actually give you a very strong return, right? And so when we were struggling with these problems, we came up with these things called the idea of a Zen Matrix. And the Zen Matrix work actually based on the most fundamental principle when it comes to economy, right? And it's supply and demand principle. So let me really quickly go through with you the part where we develop our own Zen Matrix, and from there, how do we go about and develop our own golden filter, right? It will be very quick, and I'll try to make it as simple as possible. We actually make a presentation for you in here, right? So in this presentation, as you can see, we'll go back to all the way to the fundamental of every economy, and that's the supply demand principle. And so in a normal economy, you'll see that the demand it's basically represented by three players, right? You got on the demand side, that is the consumer. They voice their wants and need, their pain points, whatever, through different channels onto the market, and the market works like as a platform, right? And this market will help the demand side meet with the supply side, and the last is the supply end, and this is a company or individual who has that product, service, or information that will match with the consumer demand. And the way it works is that that's what propelled economies going forward, right? And the supply end, the company will have to do two things, right? First, they have to do this process called market research to figure out the customer wants and needs, right? And the second step is to communicate to the market that they have the product and service and expertise matching with that, so that there will be a match. And so if the company were able to find out that market needs and was able to create the kind of products or service, the demand will then, the consumer will then go and buy that, and then that's how company will grow, right? And the way it works in Google's economy is essentially the same, right? And in Google's economy, you got on the demand side, you got the users, and the users will actually voice their demand, needs and want and pinpoint whatever it's through the use of the keywords that they search, right? They will go into Google, and Google here actually as a market, as a platform to connect supply and demand, right? And on demand ends, they will write that keywords onto their search. And the urgency of this demand means that the how much how high or low of that demand is determined by actually the search volume. So let's say if you have a search volume like web design, it will have about 160,000 search in US alone in per monthly basis. That's a very high demand keyword, right? It's a multi-dimensional keyword, so people could maybe look for that as a service. They could look for it as a product. They could also look for it as a sort of knowledge information that they were looking for. So a lot of demands coming out from that keyword, right? And so now you got the market, and the market is Google. And the way Google is that they will try to match that with the supply end, and the supply end here is actually those are the websites, right? The website's goal is to find out what are those demands of the users, which is the process called keyword research, and from there they will actually have to show Google that they're trying to match that demand through different means of inbound marketing tactic, and SEO is one of them and is the most popular sort of inbound marketing tactic, right? You can either the website will actually could either run a Google ad to appear on top, right? And when they appear on top, they basically present to users that, hey, I am a website that could fulfill your demands, come in and click on it. Or the other way is to do SEO, just like you are trying to develop right now. So that is the supply and demand in Google's economy. And so now the funny thing is on the demand end, very much and for sure that the keyword that users search are the demands, right? And also the search volume, which is the data that represent how high or low the demand is. So you could now then kind of figure out, okay, this is a keyword that has high demand, this keyword has low demand and whatnot, right? But things are not very clear on supply end, right? And on the supply ends, you don't really have a measurement on that. So a lot of people kind of stop here when they're doing keyword idea and research, right? They find out the demand, they find out this long tail keyword or short tail keyword, whatever, and they see the search volume and they kind of stop it and they think, okay, I'm just gonna target all these keywords and wish for the best, right? It's fine, it works, but it's not enough, right? It's very one-dimensional. You only see one side of the puzzle, and if you don't see the other end, which is you have to figure out how many websites there are that try to compete with that keyword. Because you can't just simply look at a keyword with a high demand. What if that keyword also have very high supplies, right? If you look at the market matrix, you will see that a high demand and high supplies is a mature area. And if you get into that zone, you have to compete with a lot of people. And you will put the same amount of effort you put with any other keywords in different zone, but the result may not turn out the way you want, right? And so we struggle with that for a while when we were thinking about it, and we think there has to be a way for us to figure out exactly what is another dimension on the supply ends. We have to figure out a way to see how many websites actually try to compete for that same keyword, so that we have a full two-dimensional picture so that you could filter out right away, right? And so when we ask that question, if we try to tell Google that we want to target certain keyword, what do we do? And we come up with the answer that we simply put that keyword in our title. That's the first and most fundamental step, right? So let's say if I want to target web design, I will right away want to put that keyword into my title. And that's when we find out about Allintitle. This is a search operator that tells you how many times the keyword that you search appear in the title of the website. So in short, it's the number that represent how many websites are trying to target a keyword by putting that keyword onto their content title, right? So if you, let's say, search web design, and web design, if you have a search volume of 165,000, actually no, let's go into the here. A keyword that has own title of 100, it means that the number of website title contain that keyword is 100. So it also kind of means that there's 100 websites that are actually targeting and competing for that keyword, right? So now we slowly get into that, the second dimension. So let's say you get a keyword indoor plants, right? Highly competitive keywords. If you click indoor plants, you have about 1 billion result, right? And if you search for Allintitle indoor plants, you have about 232,000 results. So 232,000 website content title that contain the keyword indoor plants. You do not want to compete in this zone, right? Because there's so many. It's a very good keyword with high search volume, but it's also a very highly competitive keyword because you have to compete with another 232,000 people, right? And now if we go into this another keyword, it's called indoor plant spray for bugs, right? It's more specific. It's very well targeted. It's a long tail keyword. It will return to you about 4.6 million results, but the Allintitle for it, it's only about 3 results. There are only 3 websites that have this keyword contained in their title tag, right? So now this keyword for us is a low competitive keyword and is a very good keyword to target. And now that we have this picture of supply and demand, we design a matrix called Zen Matrix, right? And the purpose of Zen Matrix is to break keywords down into 4 different zones that actually serve with 4 different purposes in your SEO keyword strategy, right? Without strategy, you can't really get far, right? You could probably win some battle, but you cannot win in the long term. So for us, it's always about long-term strategy. And here's how it works, right? You have at the bottom, I'm gonna move my picture out here. Here in the bottom, you have the line called demand. And this demand is represented a keyword, right? And it's break down to 2 parts, low and high, and is represented by search volume. So search volume high is later, search volume low is a bit is on the other end, right? And then we have on the y-axis is the supply end, and the supply end represented by the amount of websites that are trying to target to that keyword, and the number is Allintitle, and you'll see that high and low as well. So when you break that down into 2 of each of this line, you will have it break down to 4 different zones, right? As you can see, it's 4 zones here, right? And the first zone, I call them decay zone, right? And the decay zone has some characteristic, and they are high Allintitle and low in search volume. It means that it's very highly competitive, but it's very low in the demand from user, which is low in search volume, right? It means that there's a lot of websites that are targeting the keyword, but not many people search for them at the moment. Usually, these are once a trendy keyword with very high demand that caused the surges in websites trying to compete, but they no longer trending. For example, web design, the best web design tool, 2017. So in 2017 itself, it was a great keyword, but by 2020, those are no longer the keyword people search. Very few people are now actually looking for that keyword, but because it was so trendy then, it was actually now have a lot of comparative website that wrote about that article, but they're no longer actually investing though. So you do not want to get to this zone, right? This is the zone that you avoid at all costs. This is the zone where it contains all what we call zombie keywords. They already go up to their peak and they already die down on the other side of the hill. So do not set any planning onto this keyword zone, right? High Allintitle, low search volume. High supply, low demand, right? The second zone we call the mature zone, right? And in mature zone is essentially a high Allintitle and high search volume, right? And high Allintitle, high search volume is mean just high supply and high demand. These are keywords that consistently has the demand over the years, and it's also consistently well known in the whole competition zone of that in the market, right? So these are the keywords like web design are one of those keywords, right? You have very high search volume, but also you have a very high Allintitle amount. So a lot of people know about the keyword, a lot of websites trying to target that keyword, but a lot of people searching for those keywords. They are mature keyword with consistently high demand from users, and therefore lots of websites trying to rank for those. They are maybe usually a shorter length keyword, 1 to 3 word counts at length, right? Like web design, indoor plants, some of those keywords. Select the keyword in this zone with caution, because it will require definitely more resources and investment to rank, But the upside is that once you could rank, you will establish yourself as a big player in that niche, right? You will have consistent flow of organic growth. These are the keywords that you eventually will always have to target, even if you don't rank, because you want to show Google that you know your stuff, right? You know about this keyword, and you also trying to give values to your users, right? They're very good for long-term planning, right? So you want to, when you start your SEO strategy, this is the keyword to belong to this zone. Third zone is called opportunity zone, right? Opportunity zone is essentially the low on title and low search volume. They are newly born keyword, right? These are the keywords that some people just started to have demand. Some people start searching for it, but not many people know about it yet, right? And not many websites know about those as well. So then you have those keywords that purely just born being searched, and it presents so many opportunities. Quick fact here, by 2017, Google reveals that 50% of their daily search are actually new search term. I'm not sure what's the number now, but I'm pretty sure that it's kind of consistent with the whole movement of daily search. So a lot of long tail keyword appear here. They are new, they are fresh, but some people are start to searching for them. They are very good keyword to choose when you just start out, right? It's good for your what we call is mass produced sort of content, right? You look for all this keyword where it's very low competition and low search volume, and you kind of just write content for all of them. And the way it is that you want to make sure you cover as many keywords here as possible, so that if any of these keywords eventually grow into the mature state, right, or even into the next zone, which ideal zone, you will actually be able to get traffic from them, right? But by ranking them now will help you to establish your expertise later on. So they're good for short-term planning, but they're also very good for long-term planning, right? Because eventually the amount of work you put in for this zone will actually pay off compoundly over the year, right? So this is opportunity zone. And the last one is Candyland. Candyland is the best zone there are for any of the planning, right? What it is Candylands are low in own title and high in search volume. It means that these are the keywords that are hidden gems. A lot of people searching for those, but not many websites already know about that to target that keyword. Generally, it's a very long tail keywords, 3 to 6, very specific, tailor-made into certain kind of niche that many people are just kind of look for, like that keyword, indoor plant spray for bugs, right? Not many people have, not many websites know about that demand yet, but a lot of people are researching for those. Right, they are ideal keyword that specify high demand need or wants from user, but not many websites are awarded, and therefore they are not competing for those. Google typically will represent data that is closest in terms of meaning relevancy to that word, right? But if you target this keyword, there's a higher chance for you to go and get that ranking and get that organic growth, right? Because the competing scene over that keyword isn't too much, right? Of course, your website has to well optimized. The content has to be very high value to the users. You can't just simply write something random and win over here, because Google also know that this is a high demand keyword. So they will always look for that. They want to see how much value you provide to the users. So you always have to make sure your content has to provide values for users. When you go into this very high demand kind of keywords, you can't just simply throw in any kind of content, right? Great keywords to use as your major content idea. You may want to do some quick scan through to check on keywords, but they're typically the best keyword to build your content strategy around. They're great for all planning, right? You short-term, long-term, medium-term, any planning, they are great for. So this is Candyland, right? And so now that you understand the idea of own title, why it's so important, and as I introduced with you Zen Matrix, we now could go into the details step by step of golden filter, because the way we structure golden filter essentially coming up from this theory of in which we built. Actually, it's a very practical theory. We've been applied for over the years with a lot of our clients, and it worked great. As you can see here, these 4 zones, they're not right and wrong zone. They just zone that fit with different stage of your planning and also different timing and also different strength and resources that you may have. You know, stronger team with more resources, you may want to target opportunity, Candyland, and mature zone all at once. Newly website, new people, new website owner, you want to go for opportunity and Candyland only, and you reserve mature zone for longer tail, right? If you already have all the keyword laid out, and if you see in your keyword list some keyword already in the decay zone, just don't put any more effort into it. Let it die. They're not gonna give you any more return on investment. You see, in order for you to do good strategy, SEO strategy more efficiently, defining them into different zone are going to really help you in a long term, right? And so that is Zen Matrix, and that is the reason why we chose Allintitle as the key data point in which for us to build out this theory. And so now let's get into the step-by-step of golden filter. All right, going back here for golden filter, I'm gonna go into our example here, that is nutrition plan, right? So the way we build golden filter, essentially it is the two-dimension things, right? We build them based on search volume of that keyword and also the Allintitle data of that keyword, right? And when we build them out, there's three purposes we keep in mind. The first is we have to be able to create a kind of a filtering system so that people can quickly identify keywords in different zone of the Zen Matrix, right? Are these keywords in mature zone? It means that they have Allintitle very high, but also they have very high search volume. So even with high Allintitle, you still have a shot because the keyword has so much potential, and you don't want to miss that out. And then you have keywords that are in opportunity zone, and then you have keywords that are in neutral and in Candyland zone, right? And so that's the reason why we create golden filter. If you go into a new keyword like this, there will be a button called golden filter, and simply click on those and click confirm, and we will use the keyword credits that you have to find out for you all those golden keywords, right, using our golden score mechanism. So just click confirm, and it will lead into this measuring, and then after that done, it will appear something like this here. There's a golden score, and golden score now become a filter for you, right? As you can see here, the data is presented to you. We show you the Allintitle data and the search volume here, and we develop our own scoring algorithm. It's called golden score. And the reason why we have to build golden score is we have to kind of bring all of these dimensions into one single kind of scoring system to show you that, okay, there are different kind of keywords, and this keyword could be very good potential, even though it's had high Allintitle, right? So let's go right into it. Right now we break golden filter into two part, right? The first is by ranking probability, and ranking probability essentially are the way for you to look for keyword in the two bottom zone, Candyland and opportunity zone. Right over here, you could just simply scroll this and look for keyword that has ranking probability in top 20 or top 10 or top 1 even, right? So what we do is that we just simply filter by Allintitle, right? And if the lower of the Allintitle, the higher the chance you are to get your keyword rank in that position. So this fit very well with newer SEO. If you are a newly owned website person, you want to look for opportunity keywords, you want to look for Candyland keywords so that you can quickly rank those and get that organic traffic in for your website. Ranking probability is the fastest way to kind of get those, right? And over here, you just kind of scrolling this, and as you scroll here, we have an overview report right away for you to see. So let's say if it's top 10, so these are ranking probability in top 10, you will have about 1,864 keywords, right? Out of these 3,232 keywords. Total search volume will be 172,000, average species and average golden score, right? Just pay attention to these two number as you see, right? So if let's say I do top 10, I say, oh wow, I have 1,862 keywords, that's pretty good. I click apply, and there it is. all 1,864 keyword chosen, and these are all the keyword with ON title very low below 10, right? Meaning that there's only below less than 10 websites that actually have these keyword content in their title, right? For example, you will be able to see some very good nutrition plan for endomorph, right? This is a very specific keyword, and even though the search volume is low, but you are kind of are going to be able, and this will be some keyword which I call the opportunity keyword, right? You have a search volume low, but you also have very low on title was 0, right? Nutrition plan for gestational diabetes. Not many people actually write about those yet, right? So these are very good. This is a very fast and easy way for you to look for keyword in those bottom zone, opportunity and Candyland, right? Then the second way to filter is by potential value. So essentially, potential value is the way we filter out keyword, use our scoring system, right? And why do we need to do this? Is to help you look for, help you not miss, right? If you are a stronger team, you want to look for keyword that is really good in mature zone, because some keyword in the mature zone, even though they have very high ON title, let's say 100, but they are compensated by exponentially higher search volume, right? Let's say you have 100 website targeting for keyword, but the search volume of that keyword is like 5,000 or 6,000. Now, if a keyword lay in that zone, that's the keyword that worth finding for. Only if you have the resources in hand, right? So these are all the keywords that we say has very good scoring. Go for it if you have the resources. Go for it if you have the time, the team, and all of the things that could support you to gain the ranking for those keywords. And the way we build it, we base on the golden number, 1.618, right? Any number that's beyond this line here is not recommended by us, right? But any number below, as you approach 1, is the highest score. So the green is as you go into 1, right? So scrolling to 1, there's almost no keyword that could rank there. So let's say I get to the keyword of 1.046, right? So as you can see, also you have an overview report. As they scroll here, the amount of keyword will appear right in the bottom, so you can see, okay, this too little, too less. I want to see more keyword. I want to see at least 1,000 keyword. You can just scroll this bar, and you will be able to get that number right here, right? I click apply. So from here now, see, there will be keyword that have ON title above 65, but they are compensated. Look, with volume search of 74,000, right? Or with this ON title 40, but the volume search is 4,400, right? Calorie deficit diet plan, and even here ON title 19, but volume search is 2,400, right? All these are measured by our golden score ratio. Maybe I can go this way. Not ON title anymore. Refresh this, and we do golden filter. Here you will be able to see how to eat for PCOS, right? Search volume 90, ON title 5, golden score about 1.076. So highest right now is 1.076 as we are scaling, right? And you can just play around with this as you like. As you scroll up to 1.3, and now you have 1.41. Right, like eating vegetarian, bodybuilding, meal plans. So some very, very good keyword, very good long tail keyword that you usually can't really find those anywhere, right? Yeah, so that was that for our golden filter. This to us is one of the best ways so far for us to look for very highly valued long tail keyword. And the thing is that if you also have the Zen Matrix, now you will actually be able to build your keyword research strategy, fit them into different boxes, right, of your timing and of your strategy. You don't really have to disregard some or take more on the other, right? So these are really good sort of like function, and to us is one of the major function. Actually, it's been one of the function that get a lot of people excited about throughout our since the inception of Brighter Zen, and we are continuously trying to improve these functions as we go, right? And you know, don't be surprised if you see some crazy update coming up with golden scoring and golden filter. But so far, this is what we felt very satisfied with what we see so far, right? So I hope that really helps you. I think we'll have the downloadable resource of the Zen Matrix somewhere in your email as we send out. So look for those, and we also have that in our downloadable resources center as well. So thank you very much for listening in. I know it's a bit longer of a tutorial, but I really believe that in order for you to apply and get these things, utilize them to 100%, because that's what really wish you to do, I need to spend that much time to really explain for you the in-depth detail of the mechanism behind the kind of pain point we try to solve, and how that would actually help for your workflows and the way you build your own strategy, right? Thank you very much for listening in, and look forward to see you again in another tutorial series. Bye-bye.